Now, fishermen in these waters could have some new rules soon, likely. Already underway, the Trump administration making moves to lift restrictions on fishing in the U.S., aimed at boosting domestic seafood production, which hopefully leads to lower costs. Joining us now, two folks who know the water, the industry in and out. Fourth-generation fishermen, Lobsterboys co-founders Justin and Travis Maderia. Gentlemen, tell me what the big deal is up there in the Northeast, Justin.
Yeah, Blake, thanks for having us on.
Of course.
Let me just start by saying Travis and I, we were fourth-generation lobster fishermen in the Long Island Sound, so we know firsthand what it's like to have an abundance of unnecessary regulations strapped over your head and preventing you from being financially successful and putting food on the plate for your family. And that's exactly what the Obama administration did. And the Trump administration has now reversed those, which is a massive economic boost for the coastal communities, obviously the independent fishermen, but more importantly is for people like you and us and consumers all across America. They should all be celebrating because, and I'll tell you why, for the long period of time, America continues to increase its imports from foreign farm-raised toxic seafood because we're closing off these areas and halting our independent fishermen. And we're going to see now that we're going to have a lot more independent harvested USA fishermen, wild caught product coming across our plates, our menus, and keeping our consumers healthy.
So what does this mean? Like, it's 6:57 here on the East Coast tonight. There's a lot of folks who are making their dinner or thinking about what they need at the grocery store. What does this mean for folks who go out and get lobster or get fish?
Yeah, so Blake, to put it in perspective, imagine that at lobsterboys.com right now, we have prices starting at $9.95 for truly wild-caught, sustainable lobster only. And what this means is keeping the product in the United States, and as Justin alluded to, keeping out that foreign, even farm-raised garbage that we would never eat out of the supply chain, because what's really happening is we need to keep the Americans healthy rather than, supporting a foreign country that's coming either into our waters or bringing their food into our country to really supply our Americans, when Trump has done a good job of opening up all these grounds and saying, let's bring all our seafood into the picture and make sure the Americans enjoy wild caught great seafood only. So that's our hats are off to Trump, and we would love to supply him with our lobsters and for doing what he's doing. But fishermen first, cut out the middleman, direct to the consumer.
I hear you there, and great marketing job, by the way. But here's some of the pushback. Quote, we're risking overfishing so that in the future there's just going to have to be more constraints to recover populations once they've crashed. From the Oceans Pacific campaign director, what would you say to them who worry that you're going to overfish?
I would just say they need to really educate themselves on how the lobster population grows. And we actually are feeding them by having escape vents in the traps. And we're putting bait in the traps, and all the baby lobsters are getting in and out, in and out, in and out every day. And we're feeding them till they're harvestable size. So we're actually creating an abundance of lobster. The one thing that me and Travis are advocates against is the seasonality in the USA, which we need to talk about, because we shouldn't be harvesting the lobsters when they're at their weakest state in the middle of the summer. And that's something that we faced as fishermen and devastated our lobster fishery. If you look it up, the Long Island Sound is completely devastated from lobster because of that. But as far as ruining the lobster stock, that's just an uneducated person saying that.
All right, we'll leave it there. Justin and Travis, all the best. Obviously, a big move for your industry, and hopefully, leads to big business for y'all and lower prices for folks at home. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having us on, Blake.
Of course.
Thanks,
All right, before we head out, we, by the way, most lobsters, how about this, are red. But there are rare colors, including blue, yellow, calico, orange, and even Halloween lobster found in the wild, 1 in every 50 million lobsters. So there you go.